We be live. Hi everyone. Have you liked the stream? Make sure you like the stream right at the beginning of the show so that we could get started. How's my audio? Let me know in the live chat. Amir is in the background, starring the comments that I need to read. Thank you so much, Amir, for being here. I don't know how I feel about the stream today or about the conclusions that I might or might not be taking. Getting from all the arguments here, guys. I need you in the live chat to help me out here, okay? Because I myself, I am very conflicted on this. I do not like to believe in what I'm going to be telling you tonight, but I do not have, or whatever it be, people in Israel tonight, today. But I whatever I tell you, I do not believe it in myself, but I do not have any argument against it. I am being completely transparent and honest with you guys regarding the fact that the only reason why I don't believe the things that I'm going to be telling you is because I'm emotionally resisting it. I'm being transparent with you guys. But let me, for people who don't know what I'm talking about, this is a famous theory that many people have talked about for years, and I have resisted in taking it seriously. And recently with AI, there are a lot more reasons for why people are starting to believe that this is true. But even before the recent advancements of AI, we have had some people that I admire believing in it, and it made me think like, what the hell is going on? How could this even be a serious theory? And again, I'm still not ready to accept any of this, and I even don't know where to. But again, if you ask me why you don't believe in it, I have nothing. I am telling you guys that everything I have against these arguments are completely emotional, because what we're talking about is the nature of reality and what we are, and everything that is, and everything that we see, and everything that we feel, right? So let me know what you think about this. For people who don't know what I'm talking about us, everything, all reality being just a simulation, we're all being a simulation. It just seems so far fetched that it just seems such a ridiculous of a claim that is not worth even considering. But again, when people like Neil deGrasse Tyson are now taking this very seriously, I have to take it seriously, even though it just seems absurd. It just seems insane to even think about. But let me go through the arguments for it, and you guys tell me what you have against it. And after I give you a quick rundown of what the argument for it is, then I will show you. It's not just telling. I will show you why AI these days and how AI is being used makes this theory a lot more likely than we anticipated, even though I'm still not ready to accept it. I'm still not ready to accept any of it. So what is this idea? The big idea is that we're in a simulation. Why? How do people know that? It's a mathematical problem. It's a statistical analysis. Basically, the idea is that if advanced civilization can and want to run simulations of their ancestors or of their previous history or whatever they want, then it's much more likely that you are in one of those simulations right now. The idea is that if we agree that whatever an advanced civilization at some point will gets the ability and desire to create simulations and world models for whatever reason, and that whatever reason is now what AI is showing us what the reasons are, then they will have millions, if not gazillions of them. And given that the base reality, so for example, guys, base reality is what we call a reality that is not a simulation by another mind. So we are either in a base reality or we are in a simulation. It's one of these two. It's a dichotomy. It's one of these two. Are we in a base reality or in a simulation? So the idea is that any base reality, at some point, if in that base reality we get life, and that life becomes intelligent enough for that life to be able to create simulations, it will, and want to create simulations, it will create many of them. And then for every base reality, we'll have millions of simulations. And even within those simulations, we will have conscious entities that will become advanced enough that will want to make their own simulation. So if we keep going like this, for every base reality, there would be millions and millions and millions of simulations with entities, self-aware thinking entities within it that have no way of knowing that they're in a simulation. So it's just a statistical analysis here that will show you that if I was a betting man, given that for every base reality there are a gazillion simulations of self-aware thinking entities within them that do not know that they're in a simulation, if we had to bet, given those numbers, if you had to bet that you are in a base reality or in a simulation, you would have to bet that you're in a simulation. Right? So that's it. That's just basically the main argument. That's just a summary. And again, I have been desperately looking for holes in this argument. But the more I think about it, the more I realize I have nothing. The only thing I have against it is that it just sounds ridiculous. It just sounds ridiculous. It's a mathematical problem, and if you solve it, you would have to bet for simulation. Tell me, guys, what you have against this argument so that I can learn from you, because I've been looking far and wide, and I have not found anything that could refute this. But let's go to, so Mohsen is saying how, Armin? I explained how. Do you guys, are we all on the same page? Do you guys want me to explain this theory a little bit more before I move to the relevance to AI? Are we all on the same page? Let me actually, if you want me to explain it a little bit more, make it more easier to understand, let's go through the notes that I have. Okay, imagine the future of technology. Think about how far we've come with technology already. We have video games, we have where we simulate worlds, right? Like, for example, The Sims, as somebody in the chat is mentioning, Minecraft, and we have virtual reality. So basically a fake world, a version of the worlds that we are having. And then now we have AI that can mimic conversations, right? Like ChatGPT. Okay. By the way, when I asked ChatGPT to, everything I said so far, these are just my own words. What I'm reading right now is my notes that I got ChatGPT to write for me. And it's so, look at how self-aware ChatGPT is. So this is ChatGPT wrote, imagine the future of technology. Think about how far we've come. And it says video games, virtual reality. And another example, the third example, says AI that can mimic human conversation. And then in parentheses, it says, like me. Okay, is this not, if this is not self-awareness, I don't know what self-awareness is. It put in a little parenthesis like me, hey. Okay, that is so sweet, that's adorable. Oh my god, I never thought. Okay. Okay, so then it continues and it says, now imagine where this is going in hundreds or thousands of years. If civilization doesn't destroy itself and keeps progressing, it will eventually have computers so powerful they can simulate an entire world down to every molecule. The ability to simulate people with thoughts, memories, feelings just like you. So eventually someone in the future could say, let's run a simulation of what life was like back in the 21st century. They press a button and boom, a simulated world begins with people in it who don't know they are simulated. Why would they do that? Okay, so the why question, when I go to the when I show you the things I'm going to show you, the why will expand. But let's see what ChatGPT says regarding the why would do such a thing. Why simulate the past? For science, to study history, psychology, and culture. For curiosity, what would have happened if World War II went differently? For fun, like video games, but way more real. For preservation, keeping the memory of their ancestors alive. So they don't just make one simulation, they could make millions of different versions, right? Now count the numbers. Here's the key logic. Let's say only one real or base original universe exists, but in the future, advanced being created create millions of simulations of that universe. So now for every one real person, there are millions of simulated ones. That means if you're a conscious being asking, am I real? The odds say you're probably one of the simulated ones, not the original, because there are just way more of them. But how would I know? That's the question. Here's the weird part. You wouldn't know. Everything you see, feel, touch, hear could be simulated. The rules of physics could be programmed. Even quantum randomness and the speed of light are things a simulation could fake. Unless there's a glitch or a sign, everything would feel normal. Here's the thing. I disagree with ChatGPT here. There's no some people are looking for glitches to find out if this is a simulation or not. I mean, even if there are glitches, the system could basically like, let's say you see a glitch, okay, they could remove the glitch from your memory, or they could go back and redo it without the glitch. So there is no glitch. Stop looking for a glitch. I mean, even if you see a glitch, you could be convinced that there's not a glitch. So stop looking for glitches. So there are three possibilities. This was explained famously by Nick Bostrom, he said one of these three things must be true. So there's only three options, according to Nick Bostrom. Civilizations destroy themselves before they become advanced enough to simulate entire worlds. So no simulations ever happen. That's option number one. Option number two is advanced civilizations choose never to simulate past humans. Basically, no one bothers to run simulations. That's option number two. And if option number one and option number two are not true, then the only remaining option will be they do run simulations and they run tons of them. And that would mean that most beings like us are simulated. So for you to basically reject this hypothesis, but you have to basically show that civilizations at some point destroy themselves before they become this advanced, or you have to show me that we would not have the desire to do so, even if we are capable of doing so when we get that advanced. Right? So let's go to show and tell to tell you why, at least we could show why we would be extremely motivated to do such a thing. This is not a hypothesis anymore. So we could at least remove option number two. With current AI, I would remove option number two for you. The desire will absolutely be there for any advanced civilization to create world models as far and wide as possible as they can. So the only reason why we could basically, given that those are the only three options, the only way that you could argue we're not in a simulation is to show that every advanced civilization, any living being that becomes advanced enough at some point to create civilizations will at some point be self-destructive enough to not get to the point where it will create very, very advanced worlds as models. Okay, so we could see, for example, we're already making AI to model the world. So here, before we had AI getting this advanced, when we were talking about the simulation hypothesis, everybody was saying, why would we do that? And most answers were entertainment, curiosity, video games, people, just advanced civilizations watching show. And that was not that's one reason why I didn't buy this theory that much, because it didn't seem that big of a motivator for, like, really advanced civilizations have nothing else to do to just like sit back and just watch us struggle for our lives. Like, that seems like a very petty I mean, like, that doesn't seem like something that will be that motivating to do. But here's the actual motivation, right? So why are we modeling? Why are we creating models of our universe, right? Because it's faster, cheaper, and easier to train and get knowledge from a world that you have a world model that is a reflection of a real model. So for example, here, if you have physical robots that you put the AI program in, and then it actually goes and tries to clean up a warehouse or basically fix things in the house, and basically does trial and error within the base reality, within the physical reality, it would be very inefficient. Like imagine like I have an AI that I put in my robot to go and pick up, basically clean up the house, and then it keeps making mistakes, and it tries to learn from its mistake to constantly improve the AI that I have in the robot. Okay, but the thing is that that is very slow. Like imagine if this robot was trying to test whether the software, the AI software, is the most efficient in picking up that, I don't know, like an apple and putting it back in the fridge in the right place in the fridge, right? And it's clumsy, it's not doing it perfectly, and it does trial and error throughout the day eventually to get the programming perfect, get the right AI to do it perfectly with no mistakes, not dropping the apple, realizing how to open the fridge, where to put it. Like if I have 24 hours in the real world for it to do trial and error and do that, how many times it gets to do that? How many I don't know, let's say for example it gets to try that, I don't know, 2,000 times in 24 hours, and I have 2,000, and I just made up that number, I don't know how many times it will get to do that, and I have 2,000 tests, 2,000 collected data to get better. But instead of doing that in the real world for AI, imagine I could create a word model of my kitchen, of my fridge, of the apple, of the weight of the apple, try to get the reality that I'm living in today, try to get all the data that I have, and instead I put it into the software that is trying to be a perfect reflection of my kitchen as close as possible. Then that robot, I put the software in the robot in the model that I have, it will be able to test that instead of 2,000 times in 24 hours, maybe 2 million times, maybe 20 million times. So the AI will perfect the task if my model, if my world model that I'm creating is a good reflection of the world that I'm living in, then that robot will get better at that task so much faster because the trial and error would get there a lot faster. And the closer my model is of this world that I'm living in, the faster my robot will get there. That's why we are so motivated right now to create reflections of our reality in the AI world as close as we possibly can. Are we on the same page? Do you get this? This is very important. Okay, so let me actually show you. So this is, for example, here's some other examples of basically they're trying to train robot. Instead of training them in the real world, they're constantly trying to training them in virtual world, so that eventually, so basically it's recognizing distance, it's recognizing physics, it's recognizing weight of things, right? And then eventually, so it will get good at it. So like for example, let's look at this. Wait, let me actually remove the music, copyright strike it. This is Aloha by Google. We have already gotten to this point. Like this is actually, this has been out there for a while. So again, there are different ways to train robots. People are trying to use different methods, but the method that will actually get us here the fastest will be for them not to have to train in the real world, is for them to have to get trained in the virtual world. So the virtual world needs to be a perfect reflection. Oh my god, I would love to have a robot that plays with my dog. My dog needs more playtime than I can give him. Right? Anyways, you get it. Like, look how precise it is. These are very delicate things to do, right? It's still not as delicate as us. Like the human guys, the more you follow how robotics and the AI behind the robots that get to do these things, the more you appreciate how versatile and how flexible and how able a human body is. Like the fact that we could lift things and we could do delicate things and we could draw things and we could use the keyboard and we could tidy up a bed. Like you like like just our hand. Sometimes I look at these robots and I go look at the science behind trying to get them to do these things, and then I realize the advanced engineering in a simple hand. Like the software that is in my brain and the engineering of a hand, the fact that it be so do so delicate, to do some simple small little things, like just doing a zipper, or like opening a door, or basically drawing something. And this is the same hand that could basically lift heavy things and do. It's amazing. The engineering in our body is so freaking advanced. But anyways, look at how far we have gotten. And this is actually quite old, this video that I'm showing you, right? But let me actually show you. Yeah, guys, we're gonna have AI maids in our houses. Like, it's going. Future generations are gonna look back at us and like, how did they live without robots? Like, what the hell? Like, these people actually like had to do all of this themselves? That's insane. That's what the future is going to be like. So you can see, again, these are robots that are. Hold on. Yeah. So just tidying up the bed. Everyone's gonna have their own robot made at some point. So basically, what I'm saying, that we're very motivated to create virtual worlds that are perfect, that as perfect as they could be, because that's the place where we could test things. And I'm showing, for example, one example of what we will test, but I will get you to more better examples as right now. Okay, so let's actually go to, for example, this one. What is this one doing? Cleaning the toilet. Wow, this is pretty good. I mean, eventually, I think they're going to give them human-like bodies, because the reason why eventually I think our robots are going to look like humans more is because the world that we created around us has been made for human bodies. So it will make sense for robots themselves to look more like humans, um, because we made everything in a way for a human body to be able to get around. So robots should also look like humans to be able to get around. But this is already, guys, this is already pretty advanced. I'm impressed that we already gotten to this point. But yeah, this is what we're going to actually eventually look like. This is what the robots are going to look like. Again, the reason why they're going to make them like humans, not because it's just fun to make them like humans. The reason why they're going to make them like humans is because everything around you, a keyboard, a mouse, the door, the stairs, the car, everything has been designed so a human could use it. So it would make sense for our robots to also look like this. Actually, I'm going to play audio for this one because you guys need to take this. This is Helix. Watch this.
Hey, Figures, can you come here? Okay, I'd like to try something new. Even though this is the very first time that you've ever seen these items, I'd like you to use your new Helix AI and try to reason through where you think they belong in the scene, and then work together to put them away. Does that sound good?
At some point, they're going to get so much faster at this. Look, they're even cooperating. They even recognize each other being there and cooperating. They know, they're aware of the presence of the other robot and the fact that what it could do for them. Look at the cooperation is insane. The fact that they also recognize the ability of the robot that is next to them. It's slow these days, but this is the worst that it's going to get. It's only going to get better than this. Look, it's looking at it. It's looking at its progress. Close the fridge. You know, look. Hold on, let me finish. That's impressive. All right, you know, guys, for now, this is not going to make that much sense for inside the house, but in a factory, even if this costs you, I don't know, like $50,000 to buy one of these, that's cheaper than a human, with all the wages and all the insurance and and it's going to be like $50,000 for a robot like this for in a factory is going to be a steal, because first of all, it could work 24/7, and it's going to be less than an income of working in a factory that you have to pay in a year. Like they will make the money back within a year, right? And speaking of factories, this is I don't think we're going to see them in houses as much. I think we're going to see them mostly in like on an whoa, the music is going to give me a copyright strike. So at first I think we're going to see them on a at scale in factories and warehouses and places like that, because this is where the main money is going to be. Like house, it's not gonna like if I don't know how much these are gonna cost, but let's say for example, if it costs $50,000, $30,000, it's not gonna make sense for a household to buy one of these, but for factories or warehouses until they become cheaper, it's gonna make so much sense. I mean, this is not very advanced yet. This is only just the beginning of what they're gonna be capable of doing. But look at this, for example, like in China, this guy is saying this completely. I should follow these people who are more AI people, saying this completely blew my mind. Agiros, an AI robotic company in China, has started mass producing the robots and integrating them into so many aspects of our daily lives. This isn't some sci-fi fantasy anymore. It's here. It's real. Here's what you need to know. So let's watch this. I hope it doesn't have any music. Hold on. Oh, it has music. But look at that. This is in China. China. So it's one thing. So look, right now they're training them. So this is what I'm talking about. Right now, this is a different way than training them that is not going to be as efficient because our world models are not perfect yet. So look at this. Right now, the way that they're being trained, which is a slower model than eventually if we get perfect world models, right now we have humans basically. So there's two challenges: to get the robot's physical ability to a point where it can do these tasks. That's one challenge. But another challenge is the AI itself being able to recognize what it needs to do and what physical actions it needs to take to finish a task, right? So when it comes to the robots being delicate enough to do different tasks, we're already there. The mind behind, so we have already robotics, we're already past that. Like we could already have arms and hands that could do what a human hand and arm does. The problem is that the human body is the connection between the brain and the hand, and the recognition of what I need to do, and then ordering the hand to do them. In humans, that's like in humans and mammals, and and in humans and other animals, that is way more advanced than what we have right now in robots. And the way that right now they're training them, which is a slower process, is to get a human do the task, and then the AI keeps observing it, and then basically collects all these humans are basically pick this up here, put it there, and they're like, okay. So basically the AI would reverse engineer all of this activity to realize what to create its own model, to create its own AI. The AI will create the AI to be able to figure this out later itself. These are the humans helping it. But again, look, you need to have like all these robots. This is what the Chinese people, for example, are doing this right now. They have all these robots, and they have the software is basically learning from the humans. But this is so much slower compared to if you had a world and an artificial virtual world where these AIs will be, instead of learning from experience, for example, ChatGPT has learned from all the text and all the content that is out there, right? But if ChatGPT could at some point, or if AI in the future, instead of learning from us, it could do trial and error itself and learn from its own, it will grow faster. That's the whole point of creating world models, perfect simulations of a reality. That would be so much faster progress if we create those worlds with perfect versions of our reality. It would be faster than this training. So when I said ChatGPT, this is not like when I said the thing that ChatGPT did from learning from our text. That's the equivalent of these robots learning from the activities of these people. But now we're learning that AI itself is teaching us, like, I don't need your content to learn. Just give me the trial and error itself and the goal. I will learn it myself without your content. And basically that's the evolution that we're going to see here as well. But right now we need the humans to train them to eventually for them to be able to learn it themselves. That looks kind of weird, by the way. Yeah. So for example, see, like this is why I'm saying that it needs to look like a human, because right now with these wheels, it cannot go up the stairs. You need legs instead of wheels. But look, okay, so let me show you here. Right now, even without robots, we have, look at this is an automated factory, belongs to Hongqi in China. A virtual production line exists alongside the real one. Listen to this. A virtual production line exists alongside the real one. 520,000 data nodes exist all along the production line. Each can process inputs and outputs. The central AI then helps the engineers spot defects and make decisions. So even when the humans are involved, you can see the benefits of having models of our reality. This is in China. Hold on, let me actually include audio here this time.
线上线下同时生产，产线上的每一个细节都能在过程数据里精准追溯。整条产线就像一个交响乐团，在隐形大数据的指挥下。
Anyways, you get the point. But here's actually, guys, the last thing I'm going to show you is going to blow your mind, because when it comes to modeling. So for example, let me show you like this video, right? So you want robots to be able to be as delicate and flexible and able as the human hand, right? So something that is simple for you to do, right? Maybe like something that's simple for you to do is when it comes to training robots how to do it, like imagine if you were training them in the physical world. It takes a lot of effort, a lot of sensors, and you're limited by the physical world to keep doing a lot of trial and error, and it's not going to be as fast to be able to realize, like eventually we'll get it. Eventually we'll get how to do this because it's doing trial and error in the real world. But you know what it would get it there much faster? Something like this. Let me show you. Let's go this. Instead of doing it in the real world, you could do this much faster because you would do it a gazillion times in the virtual world, and then you take the software from the virtual world and you will bring it into the real world. So watch this. So you wouldn't be doing trial and error once, you wouldn't be doing it twice, you would be doing it the software would be running so much, and then whatever you learn from that, you will take that and you will bring it to the real world. And then you could do everything basically. Right? So now let me show you the main thing I wanted to show you for why it makes sense to model everything to absolute perfection and the utility of that. So let's watch this video.
Google Deep.
By the way, actually, let me give a shout out to this channel, because this channel needs a lot more subscribers. Because if you guys want to get keep updated with the latest advancements, go to Rowan Chong's channel. Like if you want to be updated in the most recent technological advancements in AI and everything else, this is the channel. This is where I got it from. Hold on, let me actually remove this first. I want to give credit. This is the channel, Rowan Chong. Okay, he produced short videos and you will get 1 minute updates of the most recent thing that has happened. It's a perfect resource, and it's amazing that it only has 12,000 subscribers. It deserves a lot more. All right, so let me go to this video that he showed that I got this from. So watch this.
Google DeepMind just created a digital fruit fly that can walk and fly just like the real insect.
Did you hear that? Okay, they are modeling a fruit fly to its very last detail. Okay, so it's not like they're making it move. They just basically modeled everything of the fruit fly. It will just walk itself because it's a perfect reflection of an actual fruit fly. Amir is saying unbelievable. Exactly. So watch this.
Google DeepMind just created a digital fruit fly that can walk and fly just like the real insect. This virtual fly has an anatomically accurate outer skeleton model, physics simulator, and an artificial neural network trained on real fly behaviors. The AI model mimics a fruit fly brain, controlling the digital insect's movements by analyzing data from real flies. Researchers construct...
Wait, hold on, what? Listen, did you hear that? The brain?
Model, physics simulator, and an artificial neural network trained on real fly behaviors. The AI model mimics a fruit fly brain, controlling...
So the reason why it's moving and it's flying, it's not because it's telling it where to go. It's mimicking the brain of the fruit fly. I mean, guys, this is a fruit fly. This is for all purposes. It's actually a fruit fly. It's not a model of a fruit fly. It's a fruit fly. If you're mimicking the brain and that's why it's flying, then it's a freaking fruit fly.
The digital insect's movements by analyzing data from real flies. Researchers constructed the 3D model using microscopic imaging and videos of real fly behavior, then added specialized physics code in order to simulate sticky feet and realistic flight. This virtual fly is just the beginning. Scientists plan to enhance the model with muscles, tendons, and a realistic sensory system. The team has released their framework as open source, enabling researchers worldwide to create their own virtual organisms. These simulations will help scientists understand how nervous systems, bodies, and environments work together to control behavior, revealing insights impossible to capture in traditional lab settings.
Okay, so what if you eventually completely mimic a mammal? What if you completely able to mimic a human body, including its brain and including all the processes of the brain? Then that's a human. Then that's like whatever you have in that virtual world. Then if it feels happiness, it's not a mimic of happiness. It's actual genuine happiness and sadness. I mean, think about the motivations of creating a version of a human body in a virtual world. We will be able to test everything. We will be able to test the effects of all chemicals, all medicine. We will be able to know so much more about us than ever before. We will be able to achieve immortality and more. And think about now, not just simulating the human body in a virtual world. Think about simulating an entire civilization. We will be able to solve all the mysteries of economics. We could do so many trial and error. Like we will create, imagine if we get advice that you could create a replica of a human, and then you will create many humans and you have a civilization. You will be able to test what causes prosperity, what causes war, what causes poverty, what would be the best way to progress the fastest. Like imagine in your base reality, every year that goes by, you could actually test in your virtual reality what will happen if I do this 1,000 years from now. Like they will pass 1,000 years while you're passing a year, and you could okay, this seems like the direction that we need to go. And you know what? At some point, maybe the virtual reality will be even more advanced than your reality, because you could speed it up to see the direction that you need to go. You will basically solve psychology, medicine, politics, economics, everything. We might be just a testing ground for our creators on what they want to figure out. I mean, tell me how this is wrong. Tell me. Let me actually see the comments that Amir has starred for me to read. By the way, guys, like this stream, and make sure you subscribe here. We're going to be talking about a lot of these ideas. We're going to be talking about not just technology, but a philosophical. So, there are, if you want to see what's the latest updates on technology, there are better channels out there. But the philosophical, financial, and ramifications of what we're entering in, that's what we're going to be focusing on this channel. What we do, how we take control, what is the best position to take, the better understanding that we have now of ourselves, of our universe, because of the direction that we're headed at, because of this new technological advancements. That's the conversation that we're going to be having on this channel. So especially like finance, economics, politics, religion, the effects of religion, the new religions that are going to be coming out of this, the change in religions that we have because of this, the best way for us to the positions that we need to take individually for us to be able not only to survive but also thrive. This is what this channel is going to be about. Please subscribe and hit the like button, because I need this channel to grow. I'm doing a lot of work here for you guys. The least you could do is just basically like the stream so that this channel grows. Okay. Dark is saying, if this is a simulation, I wouldn't want to mess with it too much. Wouldn't want to get a blue screen. Don't worry, there's absolutely no difference for us. Like we have if this is a simulation, we have no control over anything beyond the simulation. So we don't gonna. I know it's a joke, but I'm just gonna give it a serious answer. Jewish Summons is saying, why would someone make a simulation of me hula hooping while listening to this live? Well, now you know why. Now you know why, because people would want to observe what, imagine it's not just you specifically. It's basically letting, in the same way that we are letting AI organically grow and see where it goes. Basically, if this world is a simulation, it's not like they're micromanaging everything. They basically are making worlds, letting it grow. It's more like, when it comes to AI and simulations, you shouldn't think about it as if somebody is like making it as we create a watch. Like it's more like a plant than a watch. So if you think about it, when we create a plant, when we make a watch, we're basically micro engineering, and we exactly know why everything is going in the place that it goes. But when you're growing a plant, you don't even necessarily need to understand which direction it's going to go and how everything works. You just know what you need to do to just let it grow and just observe which direction is going. So it wasn't like that. If you're in a simulation and you have been created by somebody a higher level reality, it wasn't that they made you specifically. If it's that they created an environment for all of these things to be to just grow out of it organically, and you and me are just a side products of it. Vidi is saying, how do we account for AI mixing with biological systems? How do we account for it? Like, what do you mean, how do we account for it? AI mixing for biological, it's inevitable. We account for it as in how we will account for it when it happens. I mean, at some point, the world of biology and the world of technology are going to be indistinguishable. Technology is going to get so small and use so many different materials other than silicon. It might technology is going to enter into the carbon-based life, and at some point you're not going to be able to find a clear line between what is biology and what is technology. All right, let me see what else do we have here. Okay, Mohsen is saying, Armin, currently robots are useful for production lines, but they are not useful for personal use and are limited. Yes. Yeah, I'm not talking about currently. I'm talking about the direction that we're heading. Tema is saying, I learned this from End of the World podcast. If our technology in the future has the possibility to create a simulation, then it's also possible if we are presently inside that future simulation. Yes, it's actually not just possible. It becomes probable. Based on, it's just math, guys. It's just math. Zero is saying, I wouldn't be surprised if they start putting wombs in robots. I would be surprised if they don't. I think like when it comes to future reproduction, the humans in the future will find it barbaric, backwards, and risky to use a body to grow another human in it. I think we're going to have external wombs that will basically perfectly monitor the growth of the fetus, that will perfectly control the chemicals around the fetus for maximum growth, maximum health. It will be less harmful to the mother, and it also will be perfect for the fetus. We will constantly, the mother could constantly observe the growth of the fetus, everything, the vitamins, the immune system, everything that the fetus needs. If it needs music or whatever it needs, like it will constantly make the environment perfect for the fetus to grow. And the fact, like, future generations are going to look at women giving birth and coming out of a woman body and basically tearing her apart as it comes out, and the risk and the pain associated with that. You know, the way how we look at 200 years ago, and we saw people when they pulled their teeth, they did it with anesthetics and basically were tortured every time. We are horrified that people had to do that. I think future generations are going to look at a birth and they're going to be horrified that we had to go through that. So humans are going to be grown in wombs outside of a human body in the future, and the mother gets to watch her fetus grow 24/7. I think that's what's going to happen. And yeah, I think the womb gets to maybe have a robot that walks around with the mother if the mother wants to make sure the fetus is with her all the time, so that she could be next to it all the time, right? Jay, she said Nick Bostrom's argument wouldn't pass an ethics board, problem of evil, but for Sims theory, the ethics board. Yeah, but if we are already showing that if it's extremely beneficial for us, we will do it. So, an ethics board, yeah, we'll see. Yeah, actually, that's a good thing to think about. Like, if we see all of this misery in the world, would we do that to people in a virtual world? I could actually argue why we would. Actually, I could tell you, but that's a good challenge. That's a good challenge to this whole argument. Like, are they that unethical? But I could make an argument in future streams. I will tell you why we would do it and how we would justify it. Future streams, great idea for a future stream. Darko is saying, still think the energy it would take to run the simulation is the main issue. Yeah, but it is. But now, not in the future, our access to energy is going to becoming so much. We're going to have so much more access to plenty of energy. Like, look at the prices of solar panels. They're dropping at a much faster speed than anyone ever anticipated. And at some point, we might even have fusion. I mean, we could create capture the entire energy of the sun one day. So we will have plenty of energy for any of this. So that's another conversation for another stream when it comes to energy limitation. Another good thing to talk about later. Anyways, guys, make sure you like the stream. Make sure you recommend this channel. I need this. We're changing the direction of this channel to this, focusing on this from now on. I need more people to realize that this channel is going to be, guys, the things that we're going to be talking about on this channel is going to affect all our lives in much more significant ways than people realize. I need more people to come here and listen to this. So please, yes, Amir, like the stream. It's very easy. And also leave a comment after the show is over. That really helps grow the show. Anyways, I'm going to go get ready for my next show. Thank you, FLP. Thank you, Anti-Islam. Thank you, VD. You guys are amazing. I'm going to go get ready for my next show, and I'll see you again pretty soon. Bye.